Well, we're having really good weather at the moment, but it's just a little too warm for walking. So I'm come to Bowness, and I'm going to go on a cruise on Windermere. I'm going on the Red Cruise, and we're just about to board now. So we're sailing on the Swift today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Don't know if there are any seats outside. We'll have a look. No, and that can get a decent view on. Right, so I'll sit here. This is the Teal coming into the pier. When this docks, we should be ready to set off. We are now just backing out from this pier. Then we'll be heading up to Ambleside.
सब लोग उधर ही पलट के देख रहे हैं। निकले पीछे से निकले, बाहर से निकले, कहीं से भी देख रहे हैं। आपको भी आ जाता हूँ। मुझे आ जाए। ओके।
On behalf of Windermere Lake Cruises, I'd like to welcome you on board the diesel-electric vessel Swift. Please take a moment and listen carefully to the following safety announcement. This vessel carries a full complement of life-saving equipment in the form of life rafts and life rings situated around the outer decks. Emergency exits are clearly marked, and in the unlikely event of a situation arising, please remain calm and seated and follow the instructions that will be given by the crew. Life jackets will be distributed if necessary. Smoking is not permitted anywhere on board, and this includes the use of electronic cigarettes. Please do not lean over the safety rails or stand on the seats. Windermere is the largest lake in England, 10.5 miles or 16 kilometres in length, a mile or 1.6 kilometres at its widest, and up to 220 feet or 67 metres at its deepest. It's split into two main basins, the north and south, by the group of islands just here on Bowness. We're northbound for Ambleside and will be arriving in around 30 minutes. We'll also be calling in at the National Park Visitor Centre at Brockholm on the way in around 20 minutes' time. As we sail along the lake, we'll point out things of interest along the way, but for those wanting a more in-depth commentary, we have a guidebook available called Cruise on Windermere, and this delves into Windermere's flora and fauna, as well as giving a bit more background to the sights you'll see along the shoreline. Tagged with coloured pictures and over 40 fact-filled pages, the souvenir guide is available from the T-bar or the ticket collector for just £2.50.
Yes. It's so nice. That place is
Case. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, yeah. I think we had no clue. That used to be a caravan site.
The vessel you're travelling on today is the diesel-electric vessel Swift. Constructed in 2020, she's the largest vessel built for services on the lake since the Swan of 1938. Her builders were the Dutch firm Damen, and she was constructed at Lakeside using sections brought by road from Europe. The diesel generators provide the electricity required to power everything on board, including the propulsion units. At 100 feet in length, she is slightly shorter than her older sisters, but she's well equipped for year-round service. She was lifted onto the lake on the 11th of December 2019 and entered service in late 2020. She's named after an older vessel that served on the lake between 1900 and 1981 before being laid up and eventually scrapped just before the millennium. We often get low-flying aircraft coming over the lake. The country is split up into 20 low-flying areas, and the Cumbrian Mountains are known as LFA 17, or Low Flying Area 17. Pilots have no restrictions over the choice of route, except for certain mountain valleys, which are one-way, and narrow gaps between obstacles. The aircraft are meant to fly no lower than around 250 feet and have a speed limit of around 500 knots. LFA 17 has approximately 11,295 square kilometres of airspace available for low-flying training. We get a wide array of aircraft. We get Hawks, Tucanos, Atlas A400s, Chinooks, F-35s, Hercules and Osprey, to name but a few. We are now at the widest part of the lake. Windermere here is a mile, or 1.6 kilometres across. An annual race traverses this part of the lake, and the record for swimming the width of Windermere here stands at 19 minutes and 20 seconds. The two prominent mountains in the distance ahead of us are the Langdale Pikes. Pike of Stickle on the left, and Harrison Stickle on the right, rising to 2,400 feet. The deep gorge down the middle of them is known as Dungeon Gill.
That's a house of sound. Is it? Yeah. Can't see it.
Arthur's house is nice. Sweeping boards down to sugar lights.
Trees have grown up around it.
Yeah. Good privacy.
Yeah.
Flowing in through the gap in the trees here is Trout Beck. It's one of the four main rivers that keep Windermere topped up, and it drains the 6-mile-long Trout Beck Valley, which heads up to our right-hand side. At the head of the valley there's a mountain known as High Street, and it's so named because running over it is the old Roman road which used to lead to the fort near Penrith.
Haven't you until...
Across the fields you can see Calgart's Manor, which dates back to the early 16th centuries, but was rebuilt and expanded in 1790 by Bishop Richard Watson. For many years it was the home of the Phillipson family. During the First World War it became a hospital, specialising in cases of TB and polio. It is reputed to be haunted, and those of stout mind may want to look up the tale of the Calgart skull. Prior to 1853, the bay was known as Crams Bay, but it was in that year that two young men from Wigan drowned whilst out on the lake nearby. A white cross was erected, visible on the shoreline ahead, and inscribed into the base of the cross is written, "Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour." During the Second World War, due to the risk of bombing, Short's brothers moved their factories to the shores of the lake to build Sunderland flying boats, but all that remains of the factory now is the large concrete slipway in the middle of the bay, which is now home to the largest holiday park in the lakes. We're just approaching our first stop of Brockall. You may break your journey here and catch a later boat onto Ambleside if you wish.
We're leaving Brackhold now.
We get a stunning panoramic view from here of the mountains. Starting on the extreme left, we have Coniston Old Man, and then moving clockwise we move on to Wetherlam and the closer, lower hill known as Black Fell. Well worth a wander up if you get a chance. Behind Black Fell is Lingmore Fell, Crinkle Crags, Bow Fell and the Langdale. Next to the Langdales is the little summit of Sergeant Man. Luffrig and Todd Crag are the two lower fells at the head of the lake. They're both relatively easy walks, but with rewarding views. Ahead of us is Fairfield, and finally, the wooded fell ahead on the right is Jenkins Crag, on Once Fell, another superb walk.
I thought the commentary would have said that, although we're in the Lake District, there's only actually one lake, and that's Bassingthwaite Lake. All the rest are meres, tarns or waters.
The large building on the right here is the Langdale Chase, built in 1895 as a private mansion for a family of coffee merchants from Lancashire. The ornate boathouse on the shoreline belongs to it, and was originally built as the butler's quarters. The boathouse was built also to house the steam launch Lily, now known as Branksome, and kept in the Windermere Jetty Museum further down the lake. The Howard family sold the building during the Depression in the late 1920s, and it was converted into a hotel which opened in 1930. The White Hotel on the right here is the Lowood Bay Resort and Spa. The oldest part of the current building dates back to 1859, but there's been an inn on the site here since as early as 1702. It sits at the point where the main road from Kendal to Keswick first meets the shore of the lake, and it was an old staging post where horses could be swapped for onward travel. In days gone by, the Lowood even boasted a steamer pier, and the railway vessels that plied the lake connected at Lakeside with trains that went direct to London.
Yeah.
The vessel on the left is the motor vessel Tern. She's the longest at 145 feet, or 44.1 metres, and the oldest of the passenger vessels plying the lake, being built in 1891 by Forests of Wivenhoe in Essex. Originally steam powered, she was converted to diesel over the winter of 1957 and 58, and she weighs 120 tonnes, carries 350 passengers, with a crew of 4. The mountain range ahead of us is known as the Fairfield Horseshoe. At its summit it rises to 2,863 feet above sea level. It's where one of the 2 main glaciers that carved out the lake originated. We're now approaching Waterhead Pier for Ambleside. Please remain seated until we get tied up alongside. Passengers with walkers or Freedom of the Lake tickets can change here to catch the boat over to Ray Castle or back to Brockhall. If you're heading into town, it's a 15-minute walk along the top road, but if you've got time to spare, take the bottom road, have a look at the free-to-visit Roman fort, and then continue up into town along the banks of the River Rothay. Whatever you decide to do, make sure you have the timetable handy and keep a note of the times of the return vessels back down the lake.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Still there next to it, look. You YHA. Nice spot for a youth hostel. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll fall in your shit.
Yeah, it's alright.
Right, not very front.
As we're coming into Ambleside, this is where the video will finish.